Good afternoon everyone, and welcome into my craft room. It's Friday, it's just after 2 o'clock, so that means it's time for Stampin' Chat Live, and I'm very happy to have you here. It's lovely and warm outside. I've got the windows open, I've got my fan on, so I'm hoping very much that the sound won't disturb you. If the noise of my fan or anything else is irritating, let me know. And it would be really good to know if you can hear me okay and see me okay. So I'm going to just have a quick look on my iPad and get myself up on there as well. And meanwhile, you can tell me what things are like from your end. I have everything crossed that it's all going to be all right today. Okay, where are we? There I am. And let's have a look. Am I there? It looks like I am. Hooray. Okay, so it looks like the picture's okay. Let me know if the sound is okay, please. We had some issues last week with all sorts of things. I'm really hoping that the technology plays nicely this time, because we don't want a lot of messing around again, do we? We've had enough of that. Just having a look. It looks like there are some people here, but I can't see a comment yet, so I'm hoping that you can hear me all right. If you can't, then you won't hear me asking you to let me know, but hopefully you will. So what's happened in my week? It's been a busy week this week. I took Tuesday off because it was my birthday. A lot of you sent me birthday cards, which I was very touched by and very grateful for. They were absolutely beautiful. So thank you very much if that you were one of those people, or indeed who sent me birthday wishes on Facebook. It was just lovely. Thank you. Maureen is here. Hello Maureen, it's very nice to have you there. I'm hoping that you can hear everything okay, Maureen. Perhaps you could let me know. So yes, birthday celebrations, which was a lot of fun. And what else have I done? I ran a card class yesterday. That was really nice. Lots of you were there making crafts with me. Oh, Mary saying it looks and sounds good. Excellent. Yes, you did video call, Mary, but don't worry. I thought it was probably an accident, and I can't tell you how many times I've hit the wrong button myself and accidentally video called somebody. So don't worry about it. Thank you, Maureen. Excellent. It's all right for you as well. Fantastic. Right, so as I say, I'm really hoping that the technology is not going to play up at all today. But if it does, stay where you are. I will reconnect as soon as I can. We've got used to doing that over the last couple of weeks, haven't we? So I'm going to be crafting in a minute with the Rings of Love patterned paper, which is one of the free Celebration offerings, and it's a real variety pack of designs. I love it. And it's going to be the last of my kind of special Celebration crafting sessions that I will do. We've got 3 weeks of Celebration left. You can still get the paper, and Stampin' Up are telling us that they should have enough to last until the end of August, which is good news. What else am I going to do? I'm going to quickly show you the new sweet sampler. I went through it in detail last week, so I'll just give you a quick show just to remind you. There are some new Celebration free items available, which are actually catalogue items. So I'm going to just very quickly tell you about those. And because I've got a flyer, I'm going to do that when I've turned the camera down to my desk. I'm just trying to think if there is anything else I need to remind you about. If you want to do my card class for September, whether you want to come in person and do it with me and all the other lovely ladies, or if you would like to do it online, or by post, I should say, not online, by post, when I send out all the kits plus photographs and instructions and suggestions for what you can use if you don't have the same ink colours and so on as I do. So for either of those card classes for September, today is the final booking date, so you need to let me know by 5 o'clock please if you would like to do either of those classes. Hi Sandy, Sandy has joined us. I'm very pleased to see you, Sandy. What's the weather like where you are today? Is it still hot? All right, I'm going to cover you over, turn the camera down, and try and remember to keep talking. What I've forgotten to tell you is I've just had a message through from my husband to say that there may be a parcel arriving. So I will probably have to go and run to the door if the doorbell rings. I didn't know it was coming. I'm sure he didn't actually know it was coming today either. And it was supposed to come this morning and it hasn't. So it may not come at all, or it might come. Who knows? You know what parcel delivery companies are like. So my apologies if I have to suddenly cut and run. That will be because the doorbell has rung. All right, so I'm just going to see if I can do my trick with the washi tape to get that black lead out of the way so it's not annoying you. I didn't do very well last week. It was so hot in here that the washi tape was kind of losing its stick. Let me just coil this wire around a little bit. See how that is. Hopefully that is okay. Right, okay, I think that's got everything out of your view, hasn't it? All right, so let me move those out. That's my contact details as always. Let's move those. And so first of all, a little bit about Celebration. So there are a couple of items that may not last until the end of August. So these Pool Party and Soft Seafoam cards and envelopes and the Tree Lot dies here, which is what I used last week, have been super popular. So they are expected to sell out, well not sell out because you're not buying them, but you know what I mean, run out this week. So if you were going to put in an order and have either of those as your free item, then please put in your order quickly, and fingers crossed you will get those okay. The hippo dies, which are here, are expected to last almost until the end of August, but may not make it to the end of August. So again, if the hippo dies are on your radar, get them sooner rather than later. You can always telephone or email me with your order, or you can go to my online shop, which you'll find here, and place your own order. And just a reminder that if you're placing an order for over £35 worth, there's a little box for you to put in the host code when you get to checkout. Pop in that host code and then I will send you a little gift next month. All right, you'll be able to rewind the video at the end and see the host code if I whipped that away too quickly. And extra items have been added. So these are all from one or other of the catalogues, either the annual or the seasonal catalogue. There's the timber embossing folder, the Flowers of Home dies, the silver foil pack, which is 3 kinds of silver foil, the gingham embossing folder, the dots and spots die, the daffodil dies, the seashells embossing folder, the Kraft gift boxes, so these have got like a window in the lid, the aspen tree dies, I keep looking at these, I don't have them yet but I really do love them, and the brushed metallic cardstock, so this is in shades of kind of gold and bronze. Now you won't be able to see these pictures from where you are, I do realise that, but you will be able to find them on the Celebration page on my website, or if you are one of my newsletter subscribers, then I will be sending that out in the newsletter today, so you'll get a photograph with all the details there. Whizzing on, this is the Splendid Day Sweet Sampler, so you can order this up until the 19th of August. So you've got copper foil, you've got some beautiful colours of A4 card, a quarter of a pack of the Splendid Day paper, which has beautiful foil and satin designs on one side with white embossing, and then on the other side designs in lovely soft pastel colours, and of course your card colours all coordinate with that. You have a quarter of a reel of soft seafoam seam binding, which is a bit of a tongue twister, and a quarter of a pack of, no sorry, half a pack of the open leaf trinkets. You get 10 of those. They're lovely little charms, really nice. Okay, so Sandy says where she is it's warm but with a bit of cloud. Yeah, we've had a bit of cloud here today as well, which is quite nice because it's very hot indeed when the sun comes out. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in there. So that sampler, if you can collect it from me or at a class, is £14. That's the catalogue price rounded up to the nearest pound. If you'd like me to post it to you, that's not a problem, and that will cost you £16.50. And that's just the addition for the board-backed envelope and second-class postage. And as I say, you have until the 19th of August to order that if you would like one. Okay, let's move my bits out of the way. So the Rings of Love paper then, this is one of the Celebration choices, and you have seen me craft with this before if you're a regular. I don't think, a sheet of everything left because this has been very well loved and I've used a lot of it, but let me show you what I can, just briefly, and then I'm going to do some crafting with it. So you have 2 sheets of this beautiful oak leaf and acorn design, and on the back you've got a leaf design with sort of pink and orange. There's this one with bare winter trees on one side, and then I think that looks like poinsettias on the other side. It's a brilliant pack because it covers all the seasons. The next one I'm going to show you has got flowers all over, which is really jolly. And then on the back you've got a green and red check pattern, sort of vaguely tartany. If any of you are Scottish, I'm sure you'll be telling me that's not tartan, but it's a tartan-esque, shall we say. Then I love this one with the blue tits. And then on the back is a watercolour wash where they've scattered salt on it to get this lovely effect. This one with the houses, which are lovely to cut out, and a medallion pattern on the back, or a mandala. And I don't think I have a sheet left of the other ones. I've probably got a scrap I can show you of the one that I've used the most. I hope I've got a scrap. Yes, a very small scraps. There we are. So this is the other pattern. This has got butterflies and foliage and toadstools on one side, and then tree rings on the other. So you can see these coordinate together really nicely. You know, the tree, you can use the tree trunks and the wood. You can use the wood and the oak leaves. You can use the birds and the trees. You can use the mandala with the watercolour wash. They're just beautiful papers. They've been hugely popular with my customers. And if you spend £45 between now and the end of August, you could choose a pack of this as a free item. The papers are 12 inches square and you get 2 sheets of each design in a pack. So that's what I'm going to be crafting with. Now, I am primarily a card maker. I love to make books and I love mixed media and all that kind of thing, but I don't very often do boxes and bags because they just don't hold the same appeal to me. But unusually today, I am actually going to do a bag and a box and a card. So there you go. Never say that I don't surprise you. So for those of you that really like bags and boxes, I hope you will be pleased. Let me get all my bits and pieces out. All right. So I'm actually cheating a bit. I'm using a ready-made bag. These are the Peekaboo Treat Bags. They're in the annual catalogue. They measure 5.5 inches by 4 inches. They have a grip seal fastening at the top. You know, those with the like a little tunnel and a little ridge, and you push the two together. And they have a window in the front. On the inside, they have a special coating which is food safe and which stops grease coming through to the front. So you could put cookies in here, you can put homemade brownies, you could put bought brownies, come to that, sweets which don't need to be wrapped because you've got this special coating inside. And I've written down where you can find them. So in the annual catalogue on page 140, the item number is 159252. So you get 10 in a pack, and you get 5 of this craft colour, and you get 5 white ones. Now I've used all my white ones. I've made a project with my team recently, but this is what the white ones look like. This is actually the project that I did with my team. So you can see that they're exactly the same. They are just white. You can stamp on this. This is a lovely matte paper. It's very thick. It's lovely. plain on the back so you can stamp all over them, but I'm actually going to be using some of the paper to decorate them today. So let me just put those out of the way. I'll put that there. So I've put the measurements for the paper pieces on there. I've cut mine already, but that's the information if you want it. So I have a piece for the back, and this measures 3 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And I have 2 pieces for the front. The one to go on the top measures 3 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch. And the strip for the bottom is 3 3/4 by 7/8 inch. So the first thing I'm going to do is to stick those pieces on. Actually, let me leave that there for you. You might be writing that down, I don't know. Now, because I'm going to fill this bag up with something once I've decorated it, certainly I will at a later date, I'm going to make sure that I glue this paper on really, really well, because if you think about filling up a bag, the sides of it are going to bulge out a little bit, and the paper is going to be pushed into a different shape, and it will want to come away from the bag, which of course I don't want to happen. So I'm putting more glue. Normally I just glue around the outside, but I'm gluing all the way across that piece of paper just to make sure that it's going to stay nicely in place. And then I'm going to turn it back over to the front. There's my window, and stick these pieces on. So there's the first one. And the second one. There we are. So that, of course, is not very complicated at all. You can always all stick on pieces of paper. Now, I like fussy cutting, so instead of stamping something for a decoration, I've actually cut out some of the little sprigs of flowers. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to arrange them. Let's have a look. I've also got glue on my fingers. Yeah, something like that, I think. So let's do this one first. Now you could die cut pieces. You could use charms. You could cut out a butterfly, that would be nice. You could cut out a circle or a square or a rectangle and stamp a really bold greeting on it. Lots and lots of different ways to decorate this. But what I definitely wanted was not to completely obscure the window, because I think it's nice to get a peek at whatever you have put inside. So we all have a favourite treat of some sort that I know you would be very happy to get a little bag of. There we are. So I'm not going to fill this now, but what I will be doing is tying some ribbon around the top, and there is actually a little notch here which the ribbon fits into nicely. I've got a completed one that I'll show you in a minute, and you'll see what I mean about the ribbon fitting in, but it fits in really nicely, so you can tie that around. And I will be adding a little stamped tag. So this tag is from the Hydrangea dies set, and I've got a little teeny tiny stamp here that says "For You." It's this one from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set. I love this stamp set, and I use the words in it separately as well as in conjunction with the hydrangea flowers. So they've just got this little tiny tag. Let's see if I can stamp this straight. There we are. I've used Evening Evergreen ink, which is the dark green that features in the paper. And then I'm just going to cut a little bit of baker's twine. This is the white one. There's a pack that's got a whole mixture of neutral colours of baker's twine in it. It's very useful. I've folded it in half. I'm going to pop the loop through the hole in the tag. Pop the ends through the loop. There we go. And that's my little hanging tag. And then that is ready to thread through the ribbon once I fill my bag. So the next time I need a little birthday gift or a hostess gift, then I've got that all ready to go. My ribbon has come completely unravelled. Let's do something with that. There we are. And here's one I prepared earlier. So this one I have filled. I filled it up with one of my favourite treats, which is fudge. I've used a different pattern of paper. I've used the houses, and my thought was that actually this would make a really nice gift to drop round to a new neighbour. If somebody had just moved in fact the house next door to me is for sale, so who knows, this might just be popping next door. So I've cut the paper exactly as I showed you for the one I've just made, and then I've cut out one of the little houses. I've popped this up on some dimensionals, and I've cut out this little sign which is from the Tree Lot dies, because it made me think a little bit of a for sale sign, and then I've just stamped with love on it, and that with love is also from the hydrangea dies. And then I've tied the ribbon around the top just as I've shown you here, but I think obviously that's better done once you've actually filled up your bag. So there we are, 2 ideas for the Peekaboo Treat bags, which I hope you enjoyed. I think they're easy to overlook in the catalogue. They're really, really sweet little bags, so I would encourage you to go and have a look at those. And they're perfect just for a little gift for anybody really. Okay, I'm going to pop all that away. If you need those measurements back, let me know. And I'm going to make a card next. I've got measurements for this for you as well. Let's pop those there. Ooh, sorry, you've just got my lead I think I probably just knocked it. The lead just fell. So I've cut the pieces ahead of time, just because time always seems to run away with me these afternoons. It's already nearly 2:30. So I'm doing a larger card than usual. So this is a 5x7 card, which means that my card base started off at 10 inches by 7 inches and I scored it at 5 inches. So just scored down the middle and folded it, and this is Night of Navy card. Then I've cut a contrast card layer. This is soft suede, which is a brown I come back to again and again. It's lovely warm brown. It's not too dark. It's beautiful with gold particularly. And this layer is 6 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4 of an inch. So I've just gone down 1/4 of an inch on the size of my card front. I have some of the tree paper here, and again this is 1/4 of an inch smaller all round, so this is 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. I have a square of navy card, which is 3 5/8 of an inch square. Another layer of soft suede, which I've put up here with the other one in the same colour, 6 3/8, sorry, rubbish. 3 3/8 of an inch square. Then I cut some of that blue tit paper using the largest circle in the Stylish Shapes dies. So it's this lovely stitch circle die here. And I also cut a banner that I'm going to stamp from the same dies, the Stylish Shapes dies. And then for the inside, I have an insert which is 6 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4 of an inch. And I've actually not got on my sheet there, but I've just got a scrap of paper as well to add to the inside. So once you've got all your pieces cut, this is quite a quick card to put together. It's also one that would be very easy to make in multiples. And you can play around with the papers. It would make a lovely Christmas card. I'm making this one as a birthday card, but you could use those poinsettia papers that are in there, and maybe some of the tartan paper as your other pattern. And because they come from the same paper pack, they will work really nicely together. I did tell you last week, didn't I? I wasn't going to talk about Christmas, and here I am talking about Christmas. But sometimes I just see a design and I think I can see that that would work for Christmas cards. I don't often make multiples of the same card. However, when it comes to Christmas, because I make around about 100 cards for my personal use, that's on top of what I might do for classes, then it's always good to have something that I can make multiples of. Alright, so I've just stuck my soft suede layer and my tree paper layer to the card base, and now I'm going to put together these 3 pieces and then I'll attach it to the card base. So I would love to know what you're all doing for the weekend. Is anyone doing anything special? I am going to be giving my craft room a really good tidy. It's an absolute disgrace at the moment. I have 2 tables in here, the one I'm working at now and another one, and I can't even use that one because I've just got piles of stuff on there. Partly designed projects, classes that I've designed but I haven't yet cut everything for. I've got retired stuff on there. I've got my in tray, which needs dealing with rather than just leaving on there. Honestly, it's just a disaster area. So I really need to spend about 3 hours having a good tidy up. So I hope whatever you're doing will be more exciting than that. I'm going to have to work really hard at not getting distracted as well, because sometimes when I'm moving around projects or classes that I've partly designed but not finished, I'll suddenly get a brilliant idea that strikes me, and I need to not go off and make things, but to keep tidying. That's part of the problem. All right, so I'm going to pop this banner on here somewhere, maybe on the left, because I don't really want to cover up that little bird. So I've got Night of Navy Inks, that's the same colour as my card base, and I have this Happy Birthday stamp, which is from this set, which you have seen me use time and time and time again. This is Go To Greetings. It's so useful. It's got everything you need in it for all your everyday cards. So I'm using this Happy Birthday down here. It's got all the key greetings in 3 different sizes and 3 different fonts. So this is the smallest Happy Birthday and it fits really nicely on here. Forgive me if you're getting the top of my head. There we are. So that's on there. Now I just want some dimensionals on the back. And I wonder, I've got 1, 2, 3 layers. So what I'm wondering is if I only need a dimensional on the left of this where it goes off the edge, and whether this is going to be thick enough that I don't need a dimensional, but I don't think it is. Sometimes if you've got lots of layers, the thickness of those layers takes the place of a dimensional to raise something up. And if you add the extra dimensionals on top, you end up with your banner or what have you on a slope, which I don't want. But I think this will work. There we are. Now I'm wondering if this needs a little something. I don't know what you all think. Let me have a look. What have I got in my box of tricks? Some of those, I think. So these are the brushed metallic adhesive backed dots, which is a mouthful for anybody. And I'm thinking I'm going to use these bronze ones. So let's have a look. Just feel like it needs a little something. For me, it's working as a man's card, so I don't want to go too fussy on it. But I think it does need something. And I just want one more of the big ones. So let's open up this new pack. These are lovely. You've got 3 different metallics. You've got bronze, copper and gold, and they have this brushed finish, so they're not shiny. So quite a subtle embellishment, but I really, really like them. Okay. Those can all go in the same pack now. I'm glad you like it, Mary, and yes, you're absolutely right. The colours coordinate beautifully. I mean, nobody does colour coordination like Stampin' Up. I can look on the back of the paper pack and I can see that the blue is going to be Night of Navy and the brown is soft suede, and then I know that when I use those card colours along with the papers, it's all going to coordinate beautifully, and it makes such a difference to the finished result. So I'll hold that down a little bit. So I've added a large and a small to the diagonally opposite corners on the tree layer, and then just a little one here, which I'm pleased with. It just gives it a little something without being too glitzy. Let's quickly do the insert. So I'm going to pop that piece of patterned paper on there first. I quite often put it across the bottom, but because this is sort of really tall trees, I thought, no, I need a vertical piece so I can get sort of a whole tree trunk in there. This is a little bit long, but that's fine. I always cut these pieces just a little bit on the long side, and then I can trim them and get an exact fit. And I'm using my grid paper to keep it completely straight. If you haven't got grid paper at home, add some to your next order. A pad of it lasts absolutely ages. It even lasts me ages, and I use a lot of it for classes and so on. And you've got one side in inches, one side in centimetres, so however you like to work, you've got what you need. You've got the centre line marked so you can centre things. You've got rulers on all 4 sides, and then you've got lots and lots of lines going across and vertically to help you get everything straight. It's fantastic stuff. And of course it absorbs the extra ink if you're stamping off the edge of a card, or if you're wanting to do generational stamping where you stamp off first and then you stamp on your project. It's ever such good quality paper. So when I've got one side really inky, I then turn it over and I use the other side. So one piece of grid paper at home, and I do a lot of crafting, will last me probably a week. So for lots of you, it will probably last you a very long time, much longer than that. So yeah, grid paper is fantastic. It's in the annual catalogue. There we are. So that's my completed card. Oh, and I know what I did. I was going to stamp happy birthday in there. Stuck it in without stamping. Okay, you've seen me do this before, haven't you? Did you spot that I was going to do that? There we are. Much better to stamp that and then stick it in, because if it had gone horribly wrong, I could have replaced it, but luckily I got away with that one. So there we are. There is a very simple layered card, but I think it's effective because those papers are so pretty, and as Mary pointed out, the colours work together really nicely. So let's clean that stamp off. Pop that to one side. And then I'm going to bring in one final project. And this is another box. Oh, it's a box, I should say. The first one was a bag, wasn't it? This is a box. And I'm going to use one of the paper designs that I haven't done very much with yet. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about decoupage, which is cutting out, basically. So these Scalloped Kraft treat boxes are in the annual catalogue on page 140. If you want the item number, they are 155481. Thank you, Maureen. I'm glad you liked it. And they come, the boxes are in two parts. They're very easy to put together. Both pieces, the lid and the box, go together in exactly the same way. And they're beautiful. They have a little gold polka dot on them, and the lid has this lovely scalloped edge. So these are beautiful for birthday presents, table gifts, Christmas wrapping, dare I say. Very, very pretty, and they're nice and sturdy when they're put together. So I've got a box there that's already made up, and then I'm going to do a little bit of cutting out, and the paper design I'm doing is the one that has these mandalas on it, or medallion designs, which is on the back of the houses print. Let me just pull that out to show you again. So I've used the houses a lot, but on the back is this design here. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete medallions, but you've got lots of part ones around the edge which you can use for this technique. So you'll need one complete one, but the other pieces you can use, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So what I do with this kind of design, if I want to build up one from a lot of cut pieces, is have a look at it and think about all the different layers that make it up. And I've got a marker pen. I'm actually going to mark round some of these layers in a second. So this is a whole design, and I've already done most of the cutting out because I didn't think I would have time to do it all live. Got some other bits and pieces there. So what I'm going to do is layer up lots of sections together to make a tiered design. And then I'm going to mount that on the box lid. So I'm going to do it bit by bit and show you as I go. So the first layer I cut out is really just all the way around the outside of this design. And I'm hoping by doing it with a marker pen you can see what I've cut out. So think of the pen as my scissors. Now it's not totally symmetrical, and I don't think that matters at all. So that's what I cut out. Let me just let my iPad catch up. Now that's the doorbell. I may have to run and get that. Okay, let me leave that with you. I will be back as quickly as I can. Right, I'm back. That was the parcel. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is my first layer. Then the next layer I'm going to cut is a little bit smaller. So I'm just having a look at this and thinking, okay, I've got that. What shall I cut out next? And I decided that I would cut round here next. Now I took a second section of the paper to cut this out. So you need several of the medallions, one for each section that you're going to cut out. There we are. So this then is the next section that I cut out. Now you can do this with lots of papers. Medallions, I think, perhaps show it more easily. It's easier to see what you're going to cut out. But actually you can do this with flowers and leaves. You just look at the design and think about all the different elements that make it up. And then the first layer you put down, you'll see me put this together in a minute, is the one that's behind. And then you work to the foreground. So you can do it with flowers and leaves and all kinds of things. You can use your stamps or you can use patterned paper. So that's the first two elements. Then I cut another one out here. I'm hoping by drawing round you can see what I mean about cutting out the different sections. So I took a third medallion, snipped the medallion roughly out of the paper, and then used my paper snips, which are super sharp, to snip out this layer here. And if I lay that on top, you can see that fits perfectly on there. So that was my third layer. Then I cut out another medallion to cut out a fourth layer. And these layers are getting smaller all the time. And there are other ways that I could have cut into the paper, but this is just what I did. There we are. So this time it's this central section. You can see the pieces are getting smaller every time. So there's my little piece there. And my fifth layer from another section of the paper was around that circle in the center here. And there's my piece. And then finally, I'm going to cut one more layer, which I thought I would do with you. So I'm going to cut this daisy out, all being well. So if you don't like fussy cutting, the daisy might be a step too far. But I do. And actually the key to enjoying fussy cutting is having a pair of scissors that are small and sharp right to the end of the blades. And as always when I'm doing this, I'm moving the paper, not my hand. So my hand with the scissors isn't going like that. My other hand is. Let's cut off some of that excess paper just to make it a little bit easier to access this daisy. Now you could absolutely stop with the circle. And the whole thing will start to come alive in a moment as I start to layer up the pieces. Last petal. I didn't think you'd want to watch me cut all those pieces out, so I just thought I'd do this one so you can see I really can cut out. I didn't have an assistant in the background doing the rest of it. There we are. So there's a tiny little daisy, and let me get rid of all this debris. All right. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put the ribbon on, because I want the medallion to come over the top of the ribbon and hold it in place on the box lid. So this is the shimmer ribbon. It's in the July to December mini catalogue. It's a lovely gold ribbon, I really like it. So I've just tied that round, and what I wanted to be able to do was to be able to take the lid off the box, partly so that I can put something in it, but also so that the recipient can take the lid off the box without destroying the decoration when they do so. I'm going to leave these tails quite long just to make it a little bit easier to retie it once I've filled it, because I don't know who's going to get this. So I would snip those tails off a little bit shorter once I've done it, but the bow's on the side, so by untying that, the lid will just come straight off. Alright, and I can now work on my medallion, and it's much firmer with the lid on the box than it would be if I was just working on the box lid on its own. So I've left it on the box here. First thing I'm going to do is to stick down my biggest piece. I'm going to stick this down flat, although I'll be raising up all the other pieces. And this is also going to hold the ribbon in place so that when it's untied it doesn't get lost. There we are. And then I just take the next largest piece and I'm going to put that one in place. First of all, I'm going to curl it very slightly. I'm going to stick this on with dimensionals, the little 3D foam pads, and I don't want the dimensionals to be very visible. So I've just curled this in a dome, just very gently, and that will help to make sure that you can't see the foam pads when this piece is stuck down. So I'm going to put plenty of these on so that this whole layer is supported. It's going to carry another 4 layers on top, so I definitely don't want it to come adrift or sag or anything like that. There we are. Let's just take all those backing pieces off. My floor is also covered with dozens of these, so when I actually clear all the baskets for classes and projects and things that are on my floor, I will be able to sweep up all these dimensional backings. I do have a bin under my table and I do put them in the bin, but somehow they always end up everywhere else. Alright, so this is a hand-drawn medallion. It's not entirely symmetrical, so I'm just checking which way round is the best fit and popping it on there. There we are. So that's my first layer. I'll turn it sideways. You may or may not be able to see that it is slightly raised up. I'm hoping that you can't see the dimensionals because I've curved round the edges of that upper piece. Then I'm going to take the next biggest one and do exactly the same. So give it a little bit of a curl. Pop some dimensionals on there, and each layer gets smaller and it also gets quicker to attach. Because it is smaller. There we are. Alright, so once again I'm just going to find where this is going to fit. Now this is hand painted with watercolours and then it's rendered into paper digitally, but that little flower there is much darker. That's obviously where was the first one she painted, and then the paint got successively lighter, and that's the darker one there. So let's just put that in place there. It's not crucial to do that at all. Of course you can't see what's underneath, but it does just mean that if the shapes are also slightly varied, then they should fit neatly too. It's quite hard to show you this actually when I pick it up, I think, but I'm hoping that you are able to imagine what it's like as well as see it a little bit. So once again, I've curled this piece with my bone folder. It's much smaller. Look, I've only got 4 dimensionals on this one. This box is a really nice size. You could get a candle in there. You could obviously get all kinds of edibles in there. You could get some cosmetics in there, nail varnish, things like that. You could get a bath bomb in there or a shower bomb. All sorts of things that you could give as gifts. A scarf, socks would fit in here. And you can focus your time and attention on the decoration without having to think about making the box as well, which, if you're stuck for time, is a nice thing, I think. Okay, now I've got this last tiny little one on top, which is going to need a tiny little piece of edge strip. It's too small, I think, even for one of the mini dimensionals. Yeah, just give that a really gentle curl so I don't rip the petals off. And in fact, I've put that piece of dimensional on there, but I can see that from the front. It's too big, so let's take that off and snip off a smaller piece. Probably a step too far, this daisy, to be honest. It's really tiny. But I just liked it, so let's have a look. Which way around does that go? It goes like that. Okay, so that's where I've got to so far. Just waiting for my iPad to catch up. There's several seconds of delay before, okay, let me turn that a bit more, before I can actually see what you're seeing in that moment. Still hasn't turned around a bit further. Come on, come on, come on. There we are. So I'm hoping that you can see the dimension that we've got now, the height on here. So I'm going to add a little gold pearl to the center. This is the Festive Pearls pack. You've seen me use these a lot already, even though we haven't got to the festive season, because they are so versatile. So I'm just going to pick up a little gold one and pop that right in the middle of that flower. There we are. And then I'm going to make a little tag to go on there. I've used the tailor-made tags dies to cut some tags. So the die set has got 2 differently shaped tags, and you have 4 different sizes in each design, plus some little reinforcements for the tag, and it cuts several of those reinforcements in one pass, which is a really useful thing. So I've cut one in mint macaron and one in basic white, and I've cut one of the reinforcements in the distressed gold paper, which which is just lovely. Look at that, gorgeous. So the first thing I'm going to do is to glue that reinforcement onto my white tag. It's nearly time for a new glue, I think. I've got my take your pick tool, yes I have. Which I think, there we are, that will help with that. So the tag's on there. I'm going to stamp on that, and I have this little clear stamp. This says birthday wishes, which, yeah, that will just fit. This is from the Sending Smiles set. There's birthday wishes there. All of the sayings are designed to have sending stamped, and then this underneath, sending love and big hugs, sending birthday wishes, and so on. I haven't got that stamp straight on the block. Let's let it relax a little bit. That's better. And even evergreen, I think. There's a toss up between navy and green, but I think we're going to go with evening evergreen. There we are, birthday wishes. And now I'm going to glue that in place. I think I might just leave them loose, but I think I'm probably going to glue it because I quite like it to stay like that rather than falling back straight. So we'll glue that one in place, and then we'll just attach it. And I couldn't decide when I was cutting everything quite where I was going to attach it, so I haven't decided how to attach it. I thought I'd wait and see if inspiration came. Yeah, I think some baker's twine probably, although, yeah, baker's twine, and I've got some of that somewhere here, haven't I, because I had that up at the beginning. There we go. A little bit of baker's twine. So again, I folded that in half. You probably all know how to do this. Put the loop through the hole and then put the two ends through that loop. So now the twine is firmly attached to the tag. And now I'm just going to tie it in here, and then I may also actually hold it in place with a glue dot. Let's see. I'll see if it looks like it's going to slip. I think that might stay nicely actually. Right, I'm going to trim off the ends of the twine, and then I'm just going to persuade them around the back of the ribbon just to give it a really neat finish. I'll see if I can show you what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of pulling this around. Oops, I did not want that to come undone. Tied a reef knot in that as well. Perhaps I just didn't pull it tightly enough. There we are. Let's just tuck that around the back. I might need a glue dot after all. Maybe it doesn't want to go. There we are. That's how I want it. The bow will be nicer once I've filled the box. There we are. So that's an idea that you can do with lots of your papers, or you can just stamp the same image multiple times and then cut different sections from your stamped image, coloured or not, and you get this lovely decoupage finish. You can do it on a card front as well. probably need to create a box envelope or a more dimensional envelope to send it in, but it does make a really, really nice finish on something, but I do like it a lot on the box. All right, let me bring everything in to show you. This bag doesn't look quite so exciting because I haven't filled it, so let's put that one there as well. That one looks much more fun. And where's my card? There we are. Does that all fit in? I think it probably does all fit in, just about. There we are. So a few more ideas, I should probably have called today, a few more ideas for using the Rings of Love paper. It's beautiful paper. I've absolutely loved it. I think I'm on my 3rd pack of it. I've used it such a lot, and if you go back through some of my other videos, you will see that I've used it here as well. And if you've been to classes, you'll know that I've been using it for a long time. So Sandy's saying thank you and goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Sandy. I'm just going to turn the camera back up so I can say properly goodbye, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do next time. Okay, hopefully I'm up the right way. Yes, I am. Good. All right, so I'm going to be back here next Friday, and I'm looking across at my calendar. That is going to be the 12th of August. And I thought I would have a look at layering on cards. One of the questions I get asked most often is, what are the sizes of the layers I use? So I thought I would talk a little bit about that and make some layered cards and have a little bit of fun with that. And hopefully by the end of it, those of you that aren't sure about your layering will have some extra information and ideas. Whatever you're doing this weekend, I hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. You're very welcome, Maureen. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and thank you for joining me, and bye-bye to you all.